Good evening and welcome to the October 4th Glendale City Council meeting. Roll call, please.
Council members: Friedman.
Here.
Garpetian.
Here.
Najarian.
Here.
Sinanian.
Here.
Mayor Devine.
Here. Next item.
Next item would be the flag salute, led by Council member Friedman, followed by the invocation delivered by Reverend McCarty.
I invite you to rise, renewing our pledge to the flag.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Council members, Mayor. So this, I don't like to have my back to anyone. So this evening marks the end of Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish holiday that marks the beginning of a new year. So please join me in a prayer that honors our Jewish brethren and also honors all of us that seeks the one that gives us wisdom and life-sustaining support in all of our lives. Please bow your heads with me. God, we find ourselves in a sacred season of life and new beginnings. We give you thanks for new mercies every morning. Your love and your faithfulness are steadfast and bring comfort and hope when darkness and uncertainty might abound. Thank you for this opportunity to bless our great city with the new mercies that you offer each new day and each new year. Bless our leaders with new wisdom and grace each morning that they wake to lead our city. And bless all of us who work and live and play in Glendale with continued love for our neighbors. May we all continue to work together for the common good in our community. And with your strength, grace, and love filling our hearts and minds, we have hope to accomplish great things for you and for this city. Amen.
Next item, please.
Madam Mayor, the agenda for the October 4th, 2016 regular meeting of the Glendale City Council was posted on Friday, September 30th, 2016 on the bulletin board outside City Hall.
Next item.
Next item on the agenda is the presentation and appointments. At 3A is agenda preview for the meetings of Tuesday, October 11th, 2016.
Thank you. And next item.
Madam Mayor, members of the City Council, just wanted to let you know that the regular Housing Authority as well as the City Council meeting for October 11th have been canceled based on observance of Yom Kippur. So,
thank you. Next item.
3B is a proclamation to declare October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month.
And Linda Burns. For the Commission on the Status of Women.
I don't know who goes first, Mayor.
You may. I unfortunately, at this point, I don't have a proclamation.
We're leaving.
For domestic violence. We're getting it. We're working on that right now. So I invite you to please give your presentation, and then I'll present you with that proclamation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I already said thank you, so I'll just add Mayor Devine, City Council, for recognizing October as Domestic Violence Awareness Month. It is through awareness, recognition, and discussion that most men, women, and children are able to step forward and end domestic violence. Glendale has a great community involvement, and it is through the coordination of the City Council, Glendale Police Department, the YWCA, regional partners, and the CSW that Glendale is able to serve its residents when they encounter such violence. In Glendale, the number of domestic violence calls to the police department last year were higher than they were the year before, but they remain lower than rates during the recession. The key to reducing these rates is prevention and education. more residents are reporting domestic violence, or actually domestic disturbance, and are not allowing for the escalation to domestic violence, and inviting the police department to intervene with resources and the resources of their partners. The CSW looks forward to continuing open discussion with our partners and promotional opportunities to raise awareness about domestic violence. Together, we can break the silence and the cycle and end domestic violence. I'm going to introduce Tara Peterson, who's going to come up, and she's the new executive director of the YWCA, and the YWCA is Commission's community partner and our key domestic violence service provider. And Tara is here to present some important information. Thank you.
While Tara's on her way, Linda, today I was, we went to the, Councilmember Garpetian and I went to the 40th anniversary of the Glendale Galleria, and it brought back all the memories of when we did the domestic violence awareness event, if you recall, at the Galleria.
Purple ribbons.
Purple ribbons. And we gave out over 1,000 ribbons to men and women, and it was a fantastic domestic violence awareness month. And that is something that I'll never forget. How about you?
No, I shan't. What I was made aware of today is the reports of domestic violence coming to the police department for the first 2/3 of this year is only 85. And it usually averages for a year of well over 300. So there might be a possibility some are not being called, they don't call, but I'm sure we can't drop without a lot of knowledge happening.
Let's hope that it is progress
Absolutely.
and education.
This is what we need to let everybody know there is help.
Yes, exactly.
Although sometimes it's difficult to know that. But anyway, here is
Why
Tara.
don't you stay there and we'll let Tara.
Can I ask a question before
Sure,
Tara goes?
absolutely.
Linda, does the commission have any special program for this month? Your commission?
No, not at all. Our next meeting is in November.
But you haven't.
But we are collaborating.
Are you
Yeah, we have a
partnering with
partnership
the,
that we're
vigil?
doing.
For the candlelight vigil.
I'm going to share some information
Yay.
on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we do.
So you're partnering and you don't know.
Yes, they are involved.
Okay.
Yes, we are. It would be what?
It's, so first of all, I just like to say, my name is Tara. I'm the executive director with the YWCA Glendale, and thank you so much for inviting me to be here to say a few words. And thank you for taking the time to proclaim October Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Nationally, 1 in 4 women and 1 in 7 men experience domestic violence in their lifetime. And so this is a very important issue for us to address on a local level. And we're really excited to be partnering with the Commission on the Status of Women to bring awareness about domestic violence in our community. And on October 6th, we'll be hosting an event called Be Someone's Hero. It's a candlelight vigil, so it's this week, Thursday. And the theme of our event is Be Someone's Heroes because we really believe that domestic violence is preventable, and that if we step up, if we see something, that we can say something, and that there's ways in which we could all provide support to people who are experiencing domestic violence. And then in addition to that, the YWCA Glendale is also having a community event at the end of the month, October 29th, and that's the name of that event is called Prevention is Possible. And the focus of that event is really just to invite all community members to come out, and we're going to have a garage sale. We'll be selling a lot of different items that the proceeds from the garage sale are going to directly support the YWCA Glendale, in which we provide 24-hour domestic violence crisis services, and we also provide counseling and support to victims of domestic violence.
And you could give that number.
And we should add that funding has been cut for YWCA programs, for domestic violence programs, for beds, and so this would be a really good opportunity for the community to come out and support the YWCA.
Exactly. And we'll be launching our new website soon, so there'll be other ways in which you can get involved. If you're not able to get involved in these upcoming events, there's a lot of different opportunities for you to be involved in the work that we do. And I just want to share really quickly our 24-hour crisis line number, so folks are interested in receiving some kind of information. It's 888-999-7511. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And now I'll read the proclamation for both of you. Whereas domestic violence is a serious crime that affects over 4 million Americans of all races, ages, gender, and income levels each year, and whereas 1 in 4 women will experience domestic violence in her lifetime, whereas children that grow up in violent homes are believed to be abused and neglected at a rate higher than the national average, and boys who witness domestic violence are twice as likely to abuse their own partners and children when they become adults. And whereas domestic violence costs the nation billions of dollars annually in medical expenses, police and court costs, shelters, foster care, sick leave, and inflicts untold emotional trauma to the entire family. And whereas Domestic Violence Awareness Month provides an excellent opportunity for citizens to learn more about preventing domestic violence and to show support for the numerous organizations and individuals who provide critical advocacy, services, and assistance to victims. Now, therefore, I, Paula Devine, Mayor of the City of Glendale, proclaim the month of October 2016 as Domestic Violence Awareness Month and urge citizens of Glendale to work together to eliminate domestic violence from our community.
Thank you.
Appointee, so I'll have Councilmember Sinanian present the proclamation. Comments from fellow council?
Just that the event is always very moving, and you get to hear usually from some of the survivors who have been helped through the YWCA, and you learn a lot. There's a lot of facts that are given during the candlelight vigil, so I recommend to anybody in the community to attend.
Yes, thank you. And also just to mention that the mayor will be joining us that day as well as the chief of police. And we also have a survivor. Her name is Tracy Stafford. She's a former Mrs. California who goes around the country telling her story around how she's able to heal and thrive. And so we really invite everyone to come out and to listen to her story, and also other survivor stories that we'll be sharing.
Anyone else? I want to welcome Tara Peterson to the YWCA and to Glendale.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'd like to present the certificate from the mayor.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. And just say that domestic violence is those problems that have accompanied humanity for a long time. And although this is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, we should be aware that it happens all the time, throughout the year. It's not a one-month phenomenon, and be aware of it all the time. And every one of us has a role to play to make sure that the populace is properly educated so that it doesn't happen.
Great. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you all.
Okay. Go ahead.
Next item.
Next item is the consent calendar, including minutes following a routine and may be acted upon by one motion. Any member of the council or the audience requesting separate consideration may do so by making such request before a motion is proposed. And I am instructed that there is a card to pull item 4B.
4B.
I'll move the balance of the calendar.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmembers Friedman?
Yes.
Garpetian?
Yes.
Najarian?
Yes.
Sinanian? Yes. Mayor Devine?
Yes. Will you please read 4B into the record, please?
4B is Director of Public Works and Interim Director of Community Services and Parks. I believe that should be Director of Community Services and Parks now. I apologize. Regarding Maple Park and Maryland Avenue Shade Structures Project, B1 is a motion authorizing the purchasing manager or a designee to execute a purchase order service authorization to Play Power LT Farmington, Inc. to purchase and install shade structures at Maple Park and Maryland Avenue Park for an amount not to exceed $320,000.
Thank you. And I have one speaker, Mike Mohill.
Good evening, council members. My name is Mike Mohill. I have one simple question before the council tonight. We're talking about money, which is always an issue here. But what concerns me, council members, is that our fiscal year ended in June the 30th, and today's October. Where's the budget? So that the public will know about it. I haven't read about it in the newspapers. I don't remember seeing the budget for this coming year. Was it ever published? Am I missing something? Thank you. I would appreciate that. Perhaps the city manager can tell us where the budget is.
Sure he will. Mr. Ochoa, where do you have it hidden?
No, ma'am. You adopted a budget back in June of this year for the current fiscal year. Perhaps Mr. Mohill is confused with the federal fiscal year, which begins in October. We go from July through June 30th each year. So that was a budget that was adopted this past year. For
Printed and available for public?
Matter of fact, it is. The graphics department put it out. I'm sure we can get him a copy, or he can go online and read about it there.
Let's please provide him a copy.
Right.
Yes, sir. And one more thing, this $320,000 was basically budgeted into that budget that we approved in. As part of your, yes, sir. You went through a very public process, the DIF strategic plan in the spring. That led into the May budget workshops that you had. You had several workshops, and then you had the actual hearing in June, and it is programmed there.
And once the budget is published, where are these copies being made available? So where are the places that a resident like Mr. Mohill can go and get a copy?
At our public counters, you can do it, but we strongly encourage you to pull it offline. It is there online for you, and has been.
That'll be at the city clerk's office?
At city clerk's office, or certainly in any of the departments in their public counters.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
I move the item before I start asking questions about timing. So.
All right, thank you. Second. Roll call?
Sorry, the second was by Councilmember. Sorry?
It was simultaneous, so John, whoever you want.
All right. Moved by Councilmember Garpetian, seconded by Friedman. Councilmembers Friedman?
Yes.
Garpetian?
Yes.
Najarian?
Yes.
Sinanian? Yes. Mayor Devine.
Yes. Next item?
Item on the agenda is City Council and staff comments.
I have no card, so council? Actually, council? Mr.
Sure, I'll go first. Thank you. Recently, last year, maybe a little more, we've been experiencing a spike in crime. And I think in the last couple of weeks, there have been some stores, commercial establishments that have been burglarized. And from time to time, we ask Chief Castro or someone representing the police department to give us a report on what's happening in terms of how the city is addressing the uptick in crime. Just before I ask Chief Castro, and thank you, Chief, for being here, before I ask Chief to give us a short report on this, there was an article in Sacramento Bee, I believe 2 days ago, which indicated that crime is up about 7.5% year on year in the state of California, which is 4% over the national average. And that's a significant increase in a 1 year period. And we've talked about the reasons, and we've talked about the fact that, again, Glendale is not isolated. It's not happening just in Glendale. It's a statewide problem, but nevertheless, our residents are feeling it, and our businesses are feeling it. So we want to reassure our residents that we're dealing with it, we're on top of it, we're addressing it. So, Chief Castro, if I may.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of the council. We are seeing some increases in crime like many cities. The good news is that the increases that we're seeing in Glendale are significantly lower than neighboring cities based on our per capita crime rates. Right now, we're seeing about a 4% increase in the Part 1 crimes. Those are the crimes that the FBI measures. Those are the crime rates that you hear going on across the nation. And our violent crime is up a little bit. But what we have in Glendale is a couple of different ways that we are dealing with this. A lot of it is coming from some of the propositions that were passed. We've talked about AB 109. We've talked about Prop 47. I would probably be remiss if I didn't at least say there are a lot of measures coming up next month to be voted on. A lot of them deal with crime and how we are going to address crime in the state of California in the future. And my job is to educate, so I would really encourage people to look at those measures and make sure that they're very comfortable when they place those votes. Because as a member of the California Police Chiefs Association, many of us are very concerned that some of those initiatives could further drive crime up in our communities. In Glendale, we'd have a couple of different systems. What we're finding is because people are going into the jail system less now, because a lot of crimes that were felonies are now misdemeanors, they're not getting any mental health or drug rehabilitation at all, because they're not even getting into the jail system where they might have gotten some type of system. So we're finding more and more individuals on the streets with substance abuse problems, as well as mental health issues. We have started our own mental health intervention team in the police department. We're working with the County of Los Angeles Mental Health to find resources for those individuals. We go out and proactively check on those people. In the past, it was more reactive. We got a call, we'd go out, address the problem the best we could, and that was the end of it. Now with our own team, they can go back and follow up and making sure that are those individuals following up with their doctor's appointments, are they taking their medications. We also have a team of officers, so when someone's released into our area, early release, we go out and check on them to make sure they're abiding by the regulations in terms of not having firearms, not being under the influence, making sure that they're doing those things they need to do, like checking in with probation. So we do that proactively in two different prongs that we do. We do the mental health component to help them with drug abuse and mental health. If they want to reach out, we work with Essentia, we work with a lot of the other groups in our community to get them those resources. But then we also go out and make sure they're following the terms of their early release and encouraging them to stay on a straightened path and not, if they're thinking of going out and committing more crime, they know we're there, but they know we're going to be checking on them, they know we're going to be watching them. So those are the two fronts that we're doing in Glendale to try and address these issues that are coming before us.
Well, Chief, so there's no two ways about it, right? The source of the increased crime seems to be twofold. One is their early release program, which is proven to be so problematic for the entire state, and the second is the old, lack of sort of addressing mental
money
health
that was
issues.
saved through those propositions was supposed to be put right back into intervention programs. We have not seen that yet.
And despite the fact that there's a probation department that deals with these released felons, our city police is proactively actually going out and
correct
checking, and we have that authority to do that.
Yeah, the probation department is woefully understaffed, and they are trying to staff up and train new probation officers to deal with this. But the change was made prior to having the infrastructure in place and the staffing levels needed to address this problem. And LA County is a very unique county because we are so populated. We see these impacts much more than Northern California counties where they don't see these kind of impacts. And I've said it before, a community like Glendale, we see the impacts even more. Affluent communities are the ones that are being targeted more than those other communities that have traditionally experienced and had to address violent crime. We're seeing individuals come from literally across the country to commit crimes in California and into cities like Glendale.
Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to remind our residents that tomorrow's Walk to School Day, October. So if you have a child or you don't have a child, you just want to, you don't have to have a child. If you want to walk and walk to school with a group of students and parents, I certainly encourage you to do so. I'll be doing that. I'm sure some of my colleagues will be doing it. It's a lot of fun, and when you do walk from home to school, you realize that that's probably something you should be doing every day. But tomorrow morning. My next question is about I want to ask staff, maybe our city attorney as well. We were discussing some campaign financing changes just 2 weeks ago. I think we had our last discussion. And on Thursday, our governor, Jerry Brown, signed a legislation that allows for public funding to municipal authorities. Apparently, this was a privilege that only 6 cities in the entire state, including San Francisco and Los Angeles, had, and now it's open to all of us. And this was a way for the legislature and the governor to deal with, I think, legitimate concerns that the way campaign financing is structured, it sort of almost sets up the system where only wealthy people or retired people that have wealth can participate in running for office. This gives the ability for those who are not independently wealthy to be able to participate in the political process as candidates. So, can we have a report on this? Because I think it's very relevant, and if we're moving forward with some changes in the financing, this is something we should definitely look into and maybe incorporate into the changes that we make.
We'll look at that and bring that back to you. I believe right now the line is drawn with charter cities and general law cities, and in fact there are only 6 charter cities that have it. But we'll look at that. We have a report on tonight, but we have another report coming to address the issue from our last discussion when Councilmember Najarian asked about looking at a system that the county has where if you agree to contribution limits, then you can, I forget what it is, if you agree to a certain expenditure limit, then you don't have to go abide by the contribution limits. We'll look at those options and bring them back to you at one time in the very near future, since technically we're in the election cycle for the next campaign.
When you bring back the issue that Councilmember Sinanian brought up, can you also bring back, well, for both of them, some statistics showing us how it's been used? It would be good to know how many candidates use it typically, and kind of how it ends up changing the elections, so that we see kind of the real world data, not just how the ordinance would.
We'll try to bring back as much information as we can find.
Realizing that with 6 cities and all 6 of them being major cities, the information may be limited and a little skewed, but I'd appreciate that. Thank you. And
so can we count? I'm sorry to interrupt that.
Yeah,
we count that as
a second.
Okay. And my last item is I wanted to get a report from staff about how many Glendale College students use our Beeline, because currently we don't have any program that helps them out to ride on our bus system, and I think that's just the right thing to do. A lot of students who don't drive to college, I think, should be encouraged, and also are probably not able to financially afford perhaps personal transportation. And if we can get some kind of statistics, I don't know who should be addressing this issue, but we can get some kind of statistic, Mr. Lanzafame, as to how many Glendale residents use the Beeline that are students at Glendale College, and how we could structure, I don't know, a 15-20% discount on their Beeline passes.
They use the regular bus.
Madam Mayor.
No, please. No speaking from the audience. Thank you.
I'll just say that a lot of students do use the regular bus, and that's why I'm interested in perhaps helping them out, creating some kind of a C-Pass that's very specific to college students that are Glendale residents. That's all I have, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Mayor, I'm a few days ahead of myself. Councilmember Najarian.
Thank you. The City of Glendale was fortunate over the weekend to have an appearance by Catholicos Aram I, who is the pontiff of the See of Cilicia, representing many. He's the spiritual leader of many, if not most, of the Armenian Orthodox believers and followers. He had a great event at Glendale High School, and it was certainly an honor to celebrate his 20th year in that position as spiritual leader. The week before that, Phil, I wanted to surprise you that I had a meeting with the Emir of Qatar. And we discussed some investment opportunities in Glendale, and they are a oil-rich Gulf state, as you know. And I wanted to discuss about some potential investments that they're thinking about in the city. That's all.
I don't know if this is a proper venue, but I would fundamentally have a problem with Glendale cooperating on any issue with the Emirate of Qatar, which is on the State Department list as a country that ignores human rights. It is actively involved in funding fundamentalist groups throughout the Middle East. So I would look at this very carefully before we engage with the state of Qatar on any financial transaction.
Point taken. Councilmember Nutella.
When the council is finished, we had one little announcement we'd like to do, a little video we'd like to show, if that's okay.
Oh, okay.
After the council's.
Okay, all right. Councilmember Garpetian?
Yes, on a happier note, I attended the Belfry Symphony Orchestra's grand concert featuring the Armenian virtuoso violinist Sergei Khachaturian. This was one of the best concerts that I've ever been to, and I've been all over the world. Sold out 1,200 people. The amazing part to me was they have a 65-piece band, and they only rehearsed 2 days, and the outcome was out of this world. 2005, first place at Queen Elizabeth's music competition, sold out Royal Albert Hall in London at the age of 20. It was just an amazing night. And I want to congratulate Armenian Society of Los Angeles, Iranahai, for organizing such a high-class and quality event. It was really nice, and I want to congratulate the committee members, Tom Alexanian, Albert Abkarian, Eric Ovanesian, and Peter Dragchan for a job well done.
I'm sorry, I'm just going to interrupt and join in wholeheartedly. Amazing concert, amazing soloist, and extremely well organized. Kudos to the society for organizing such a high-class event.
Thank you, Mr. Sinanian. Also, every month I walk different neighborhoods in the city, and last Friday I was up in Montrose walking the shopping park and talking to merchants and the residents, and I ran into our officer Malouf, and we were talking about the old days that we had community policing, that they used explorers or reserves to walk the busy neighborhoods like Montrose Shopping Park or downtown Glendale or Kenneth Village, just to have that sense of community, just to bring the community closer to our police department, and so for them to know who their police officers are, who's in that neighborhood, and it brings a little bit of a sense of safety and stability as well. So I want to ask if Police Chief is here, Chief Castro, if we can look into it to see if we can bring that program back. And how do we bring it back and how do we implement it? I would really appreciate that. Also, I mentioned this to our city manager a week ago. On Maryland, from Harvard to Broadway, we have that big parking lot, and it has these recessed areas in front of it that we can bring different vendors with portable facilities like hot dog vendors or pretzels or ice cream or what have you, and revitalize that area as well while we're working on the north part of Maryland to connect the library that is going to be completed hopefully mid next year to the rest of the walking pedestrian friendly environment that we want to create. That's something that I think we should look into as well. And my last item is Rock Haven. I would like to know what happened to the proposals, when are we going to get a report on it, and how many proposals came in, and just a basic report.
I would tell you that we have 7 proposals pursuant to council action to allow that last one that came in just a bit late. They are categorized across 3 basic land use types, and we will be back in front of the council on the 15th of November to recommend to you an exclusive negotiating agreement with one of the proponents.
Well, can we see some of these projects before they bring it back on the 15th?
To the extent that when the council is briefed on these proponents, then it becomes a more of a public process. We will be, at this point, consulting with City Attorney's Office to see when that is allowable under law, because we have an obligation at that point to share it with the public, and there still is information that is proprietary, so we want to make sure that we do it appropriately. But the goal would be to bring that information back in such a way that you don't see it one time and then be asked to make a decision. Because it is, even though it's only an ENA, an exclusive negotiating agreement, it is a comprehensive amount of information. So we will be looking at how we introduce that information to you, but do it in a way that also respects the public's right to know what that confidential information may include.
I appreciate that, but I think I personally, I don't know about my colleagues, I personally like to know what kind of projects were submitted and look at the different applications that were submitted.
The evaluation committee is hopefully wrapping up their analysis in the next week or so. And from there, and it's made up of folks from the Community Development Department, the Community Services and Parks Department, from our office, Economic Development, and as they finalize their assessment, they'll be returning a report back to me. And then from there, it'll commence the council engagement portion of the review, and thus the public portion of the review.
I think if I'm understanding sort of where you're coming from, just because this project is so special in a way, I don't know what else to call it, and the history behind it and sort of the back and forth, I think our fear is that we don't want to, we don't want to have to deal with another stage of it and another stage of it. And anyway, maybe it happens, but that's the motivation. I mean, it's fine. Let's open it to the public too. But whenever it is appropriate for it to be open to the public and council, that's
yes.
But so long as we have access to the information.
No, I mean, we're voting and ratifying the recommendation. At least we need to know what projects were submitted.
As I say,
what kind of projects were submitted, that's all.
We would be reaching out, briefing council members, but we have to be cognizant of the fact that the public also has that right to know what has been submitted. Again, to the extent that we are evaluating what at this point is proprietary information, we have to be careful with that information. We asked a great deal of data. The proponents provided it, and I would venture a guess that they would not be entirely comfortable without some redaction of the information. But even so, our in-house committee has not yet finalized the review. And as soon as we do, we will commence that process. And I will tell you that our goal, based on everything, as Mr. Sinanian had indicated, is not to show you and the community in one night the results of those processes, but rather to introduce the information and then allow the council to make its best determination as to who to award that ENA to, if anybody, because you might not want to do anything.
Yeah, I know. That sounded ominous.
Well, I mean, it is a complex project that is the financing is interesting, depending on who you look at and what you value. And so, based on the criteria as it's been discussed before council, we want to be very careful about establishing and setting what those expectations are for you and the community, because a lot of people, as you say, it's a very special location. People care about it, and we want to make sure we get it right. So we figured doing it, if it took a little bit of time, doing it right versus fast was most important.
Well, and I just want to add that as long as we have the public's input on that, on Rockhaven and what happens to it, I think we should be optimistic and hope for the best.
I absolutely commit to you that our goal is to have you make a decision that's well informed, based on community input, and then to not rehash that decision, but rather move forward and make progress.
Okay, thank you. I just have two congratulatory announcements. First is for all the folks in Montrose who put on the Oktoberfest. this last weekend. It was phenomenal. I never got a number of how many people were there, a count, but I have to say when I was there, it was packed, very successful, a lot of fun. They've enlarged it so much this year, I couldn't even believe it. It was fantastic. So congratulations to everyone from Montrose up in that area for that wonderful festival. And secondly, I want to congratulate Dr. Frida Jordan and all of her supporters and committees. I attended their 11th annual Armenian American Bone Marrow Registry Walk for Life. And, they've registered over 20,000 people for the bone marrow registry. They are really saving lives. This was their 11th annual, so I just want to congratulate them for all the wonderful work that they're doing, and especially on the fact that they're saving lives, which is God's work. And I also want to announce that I will be gone for the next 3 weeks. I guess you might say I'm going to the eye of the hurricane. Mr. Cho, I think, made that clear to me. But as I say, I jumped. Councilmember Najarian will be mayor pro tem. I know he's well acquainted with that job, and I leave the city's business in good hands, I know, for the next 3 weeks. So I just wanted to let everybody know that when you don't see me here, I've just taken some personal time. Okay, so next item, please.
Mayor, if you will indulge one announcement for us. The Community Development Department is pleased, in collaboration with ISD, to introduce the CLIP program. CLIP is Citizens Licensing, Inspection, and Permits Portal.
The Community Development Department is proud.
Yeah. You didn't even move your mouth.
We have this service. Phase 1 of this service is online right now. It will allow property owners and contractors to check the status of their permit. We'll also allow them to schedule online inspections. It'll be the same as if they were to call in. If you get it in before 3, we'll usually inspect the next day, otherwise be the following day. But online, you'll get an immediate confirmation, assignment, and a window when your inspector will be out. Phase 2, by the end of the year, will be able to apply and pay for certain inspections, as well as licenses, mainly business licenses for contractors, and your dog license if you want to renew that. Be able to do that online. GTV6 helped us put together a short clip of the CLIP program, and so I'll introduce that to you now.
The Community Development Department is proud to introduce an online service for homeowners and contractors conducting business with the City of Glendale. The new City Licensing, Inspection, and Permits Portal, or CLIP, allows users to easily view and track details pertaining to past or active permits, licenses, and planning cases. Creating an account and accessing CLIP is easy. Here's how it's done. First, visit the city's webpage at glendaleca.gov. Go to the Online Services tab and click on the CLIP link. This will take you to the portal login page. Once you have created an account, log in to view your dashboard, which will give you several choices. Let's take a closer look at the many services available to you through your CLIP account. When you click on the My Permit button, you will be directed to a list of active permits. Click on the permit number or address of the permit you wish to review. You may click on any of the plus signs on the left-hand side to expand a section of the permit information. If you wish to add a subcontractor, just click on the Add Subcontractor button on the right-hand side of the Contact Information section. Enter the subcontractor's name or email address and click Next. Check the box next to the subcontractor you wish to add and click Add. Confirm that you would like to add a subcontractor and you are done. You can also look into the status of plan checks or browse through and print invoices and receipts. By clicking on a specific transaction number, you will be able to review a detailed list of all your fees. If you are ready for your inspection, click on the Request Inspection button. Select the address of the location you are requesting an inspection for, along with the corresponding permit number. Please specify what type or types of inspections you need. Now you can select when you wish to have your inspection. The city will make every effort to accommodate your requested date and time. You will be notified via email once the inspection is assigned to an inspector. If you need to cancel an inspection, click on the Cancel Inspection button. Select the address and permit number for the appointment you wish to cancel. Check the boxes for the inspection you would like to cancel and click on the Cancel Inspection button. A notification will pop up indicating that your inspection has been canceled. You will also receive a confirmation of your cancellation via email. We take pride in providing excellent customer service to anyone conducting business in the city. We hope that your free Clip account will help you access many of our services quickly from the comfort of your home or office. If you have any questions or require any technical assistance, please contact the Community Development Department at 818-548-2140.
We're not going to have a quiz on that, are we?
Yeah. So you lost me at you lost me at CLIP, CLIPP. I'm sure a lot of people understand all of that, but sounds like good luck with that. Hope it works.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yes, please.
On ordering appraisals for next day, or inspections, not appraisal, inspections for next day. Right now, you can call the automated service, and if you're before 3 o'clock, it will schedule for the next day.
Right.
If you're after 3, so it will be the day after. Is it the same system?
It is, so same type. But if you call after hours, or if you call before 3, I guess you would get that. But if you call after hours, you don't know. You've got to call back the following day to get that information, that confirmation, know who it is. With the CLIP program, if you're in before 3 o'clock, we'll inspect the next day. If not, the following day. But either way, you'll get a notification. Yes, we got your request. Here's who's assigned. Here's the window. And so you don't have to then call back a second time.
Well, but current program is the same way. You call before 3, it doesn't tell you that they're going to be there tomorrow or not, or after 3. It doesn't make any difference. It doesn't tell you if you're scheduled or not. They say we received your message, but usually that's how it is. They come up next day if it's before 3, and the day after if it's after 3.
Right. Let me explain a little bit. You're right.
Yes.
Right now with the phone system, it's you're just calling in to an automated line. Staff later on downloads it. If you need to confirm whether or not you're scheduled for the following day, if you met that cutoff, you have to call our inspection office between 7 and 8 in the morning.
That's right.
With this program, when you submit your inspection request, you get an email response indicating what day your inspection is scheduled for. So you know right away whether or not you met the deadline or not. Additionally, once the inspection is assigned to an inspector, and once he's determined where in his schedule he will be, and if you've requested a specific time window, once he assigns that and confirms that he's going to meet your window, you'll get an email response so that you know, without having to call in and wait on the phone, you'll know what day your inspection was scheduled for and what time window and who your inspector is, so that you know who's going to arrive at the job site. That will all be done automatically as long as you put in the request through the CLIP program.
So if I want an inspection for tomorrow and I go online and request it, it allows me to let you know that I need an inspection between 1 and 3, and if the inspector can accommodate it, it would be in the response email that I get. Is that what you're saying? Or because
yes.
If it's the next day, it's very tough for the inspector to check his schedule for tomorrow and let me know in a couple of hours. It's not.
You would get the email the following morning. Typically. In some cases, you might get the email that afternoon if the inspector was able to get his schedule for the following day organized. But typically, you'll get the email in the morning that indicates whether or not they were able to accommodate you with your requested time window. But when you submit the request for your specific day, if you're too late to submit the request and have it be scheduled for tomorrow, you will know right away.
Okay. And one last question, Madam Mayor. So if I don't request a time, when I get a response from the inspector and tells me that, yeah, I'm going to be there tomorrow, does he or she would he or she give me a time bracket?
The email.
What time to what time?
Yes.
Oh.
Get an approximate window. Yes.
Got it. All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Friedman?
No, this is great. It looks wonderful. I'm glad to see us putting these types of services online. I will say that I hope that also we can make it easier to find our regulations and guidelines. I had a complaint from someone who was trying to find information about what our requirements were for parkway landscaping, what we allow, what we don't allow specifically, and could not find it on the website and couldn't get anyone in person to answer any questions. And the phone number that was on the website, and I guess in the engineering page, is a disconnected city number. So we need to make sure that we keep those kinds of things updated. It's very frustrating for members of the public when they're trying to find out information. The way our system's set up. So if there's a way to set up tabs, a tab that is sort of like all of our landscaping requirements, all of our plumbing requirements, and let people make it just more intuitive and easier to find, I think that would be a good place to focus as well. Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Thank you very much. Next item, please.
Madam Mayor, next on the agenda is the community event announcement portion. This is reserved for 3-minute community event announcements, followed by a portion for 3-minute oral communications for individuals who wish to forego the 5-minute portion at the end.
Thank you. And I have one card, Dr. Armand Kotikian.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Armand Kotikian. I am an oral surgeon who practices here in Glendale, also the chairman for the Glendale Health Festival, which all of you have participated and helped us out, so thank you. I just wanted to make a community announcement that the next Glendale Health Festival will take place on November 7th at the Pacific Community Center at 501 South Pacific Avenue. It will be from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., and as many of you know, if you've attended in the past, we pretty much everything is free, meaning including the screening exams we offer, eye exams, dental exams, mammograms. You're able to see a variety of physicians. You name it, they will be there. We offer a variety of blood tests for all our patients. And for the first time, we're actually offering dental fillings and extractions. So we know there's a good need in this community. So there's going to be a variety of volunteers actually giving their time to provide free treatment to anyone who wants to participate. We're also always looking for volunteers, so if you guys know anyone, please spread the word. If they want to get more information, the flyer is on the screen now, but the website to go to is www.glendalehealthfestival.com, or they can call 818-980-7777. Thank you.
Dr. Kotikian, I have to say that Glendale is so fortunate to have all of these medical providers put on this health festival, because it is an absolutely amazing event, free to the public, and
yes.
You do so many services for so many people. It's amazing. So thank you.
Thank you
for all that you do. Appreciate it.
I just want to chime in because I've been to this pretty much every year. It's grown so much, and it's an incredible, incredible service to the community. And for anyone who's dreading going because you think you're going to have to wait around a long time, you actually don't. They get you through it very quickly, and there's all kinds of informational displays that you can look at, and there's performances going on, so it's fun and distracting. It really feels like a fair more than a place where people are going to get medical services. I mean, just incredible and great job.
Thank you, Councilwoman Friedman.
Last year was at the Civic Auditorium, right?
That's correct.
This year is at Pacific Park?
Correct. We moved it to the south to make it easier for people that want to walk and for transportation.
That's a great idea.
I think you've done it in the south.
In the past as well, yeah. We moved it up, and it was kind of transportation was an issue. We figured that they can walk to the Pacific Community Center.
Because you probably had more clients
Attendance.
coming from Pacific Edison area.
We did.
So are you going to be providing the buses this year as well, or not?
That's in question. We will have the ads obviously in the buses. We're in the midst of talking, so we will update everyone on the website.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
A decision on lunch, providing lunch?
Free lunch and free entertainment, as always.
Great. So continue that good tradition.
Yes.
I didn't ask that question because my wife is on the committee, so I know about that.
Wonderful. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Good night.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Hasmik Musigian.
Everyone, actually, I didn't know I'm going to have a chance to talk, so I'm not much prepared. I came to drop the complaint form. I feel bad everybody came with the good news. I came to complain. The thing is, I'm worried about the 72-hour parking law with the towing of cars. when cars park more than 72 hours on a street. Later on, they're being told, like, I left my car on a street with no cleaning day, with no cleaning hours, and on the fourth day after vacation I came, my car wasn't there. And some of the neighbors called and they told that there is a abandoned car. It's a 3-year new car, like 3 years old. So I was surprised. It's like, I'm thinking it's not the right rule. It should be like, with this CLIP program, this gentleman was offered, at least with the VIN number can be attached email number to the cars, so at least possible, like city workers can email to the owners that car gonna be towed, at least they can do something. I went to the police station asking, what about if I'm going to the vacation, let's say for a week or 10 days, where I should park my car if I don't have a parking lot? They told I should ask my friends, go to the airport, park my car there. It's not real, isn't it? Like, not everyone so fortunate to have a houses with the driveways. So, I don't know. I just want to ask, is it possible to do some changes? I was making some research to find out when this rule was involved and who was like a creature of this rule, but there is no information, and I don't know when it's possible, where it's possible to start to do something, some changes. Our Glendale city is, I love it. I live here more than 22 years. And maybe all the news is, a lot of cities and states, they are on the news with the violence and the something. Our Glendale city maybe can show up on the news with the good, like, caring purposes for their citizens. So can you do something? Let the citizens of the Glendale park on a street when they are at least on vacations.
Question?
Thank you. Are you
have a question?
Yes,
Well,
that's all. That's it. Thank you for your attention.
I have a question for you.
Oh,
sorry.
Yes.
How many days your car was parked on the street?
It was 3 days. I didn't know even about that rule, 72 hours rule.
Okay.
Are there signs on the street about that?
No, there is no signs.
There
and there was no cleaning day. Wherever I park, it's in front of the house.
Now I'm going to ask a question from our city manager because it happened to us before. You can sit down, thank you. Usually if somebody calls, says this car is parked here for 3 days or what have you, when they come in, they don't say, okay, it was parked there for 3 days. They mark the car, and 3 days later they come back. If it's still there, they take it away. Am I correct?
That's correct, sir. So a lot of times it's more than 72 hours because we don't have the personnel to go out and proactively mark tires. We do it on a complaint basis.
Right.
So, and just to be clear, the reason for this is that we don't want our streets to turn into junkyards. I mean, we don't want the sidewalks to be lined with abandoned cars or cars that are parked there for long term. I've seen that happen. I've seen in my old neighborhood, the car was parked there. I mean, you waited a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month later, you realize that someone's using it as a parking lot.
And unfortunately,
off the car goes.
We can't make the determination as to whether it's a nice car or not a nice car.
And you can't determine whether it's a Glendale resident, not a Glendale resident. All it is a car.
Right, that's right.
Councilmember Friedman, did you want to say something? Oh, I'm sorry. Nope. Any other comments, questions? Then so it's a city law that 3 days stops.
I'll have to defer to PD because I don't know if that's the vehicle code or city ordinance, but in any event, it is rather well established. 72 hours, working in different cities, 72 hours is the number. Most motorists know that. It's a street and not a parking lot.
Well, I know we had, a couple of weeks ago, we had another gentleman that was here who worked at one of our hotels. And he had done the same thing. Parked his car, left for 3 days, and got back, and it was gone. And there's not much we can do because that is the law. So, okay, thank you. Mary Lynn Fisher. Followed by Mike Mohill.
Good evening, Mayor Devine, City Council members, City Manager Ochoa. My name is Mary Lynn Fisher. During the City Council meeting on September 20th, Mayor Devine asked City Manager Ochoa to report on the occupancy rate for the new developments in Glendale in 2 weeks, which would be tonight's meeting. I don't see anything about the new building's occupancy rates on tonight's agenda. Mayor Devine said she gets this question about occupancy rates all the time, and I can see why. Traffic in and around downtown Glendale is already so much worse than it was a few years ago. When I drove north on Central Avenue earlier today, I saw 7 large apartment or condominium buildings under construction. For much of the stretch between Broadway and the 134 freeway, 1 lane for traffic or parking was blocked off for the use of construction equipment. I hear comments from my friends and neighbors that the buildings that have been completed and for which occupancy permits have been issued are far from fully occupied, but no one knows for sure. This is information that city government and all the residents need to plan for the future. If the occupancy rate is low and the traffic is already this bad, the city should not approve any additional building. If, as Mr. Ochoa said 2 weeks ago, the occupancy rate is confidential management information, that needs to be changed. If I recall correctly, most, if not all, of those huge complexes requested and received some variances or CUPs from the city. Apparently, the city did not make it a condition of receiving those considerations that management periodically report occupancy figures to the city. That was an opportunity that was missed and should not be missed again. Does Mr. Ochoa have a report for this meeting? And if not, when will he have it?
Thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Fisher. Mr. Ochoa, I did ask for that. I don't know that we set a date certain, but...
No, ma'am. As a matter of fact, I don't think we did, but I think a couple weeks was asked, and we will have a report for you. We are getting that information. It was requested by another council member after that to not just have occupancy rates reported, but also if we could discern whether or not parking was an issue in the very same buildings. There is a considerable degree of misinformation. People want to believe, because it sounds like it could be true, that the city granted all kinds of parking variances and reductions in parking pursuant to your municipal codes in terms of allowing these projects to move forward. I can't think of a single project downtown that had a parking variance. If there was, maybe it would be one, and I don't even think that. They're all parked pursuant to the downtown specific plan.
Lemley Lofts.
There, that would be the one, because that was originally approved in 10, I believe, with no parking. The city council came back, added parking into that project. But outside of that one, I just don't know what other one is, but it sounds true. So people like to repeat it. And unfortunately, it just isn't true. Those projects were built to the standards. Now, we have reported previously to you that the projects in the downtown in particular were in the high 90s. And I think that is what you're going to see as we come forward is still very accurate. We look, and folks can go right online themselves and go onto the websites of these various buildings and see how many units are available and see how many units there are, and want to do the math themselves. We try to go a little bit further and see if there's anything lost in translation by way of people who are moving in, people who are moving out. That is the crux of the analysis that we provide. That is the part that is, we need to be careful with how much of that information is proprietary. That will be coming back to you, but again, we have that. It's being finalized, particularly because we want to answer that question as best we can with respect to parking utilization in these buildings. So you'll have it very soon.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Just in defense of our residents, I think the reason they're so doubtful and suspicious about parking issues is because during the 80s and 90s, Glendale was like the Wild West. Buildings were being approved without proper parking, and we're seeing the results of that today. And our residents are therefore fearful that that bad tradition has been inherited and has been continued on. And I don't think that is the case, but nevertheless, that people are looking at the facts and they're worried.
And it also seems to me that with these new developments that we have, where else would they park except in the parking structure that's built for them? Because most of them are on like busy streets, Central, Brand, it'd be kind of tough for them. I think another misleading factor is the the lack of lights at night, I think we all kind of look up and say, are these occupied or not? And we rush to judgment and say, oh, there must not be anybody living there and it's empty. And so that's why I think it's important to get this information so that the public knows exactly where we are with the occupancy of these buildings. Okay, thank you. Mike Mulhill, followed by Jose Delgado.
Good evening, council members. My name is Mike Mohill. Recently, I came before this council to inform the public that former city manager Jim Starbird had filed a $1 million claim against the city. Mr. Starbird, attorney, stated, quote, "You cannot have these dangerous conditions, especially with disabled people in wheelchairs. Who among our 5 council members want to settle with Mr. Starbird rather than oppose him in court? I suspect Mrs. Friedman, Mrs. Devine, and Mr. Nigerian want to settle. Mrs. Friedman, did Mr. Starbird contribute $1,000 to your assembly seat run? Mr. Nigerian, as a councilman, having worked with Mr. Starbird for years, did a relationship develop? Mayor Devine, being very community involved through the years, did you develop a close relationship with the Starbirds? Mr. Starbird lived in his neighborhood for years, wheeling his wife in a wheelchair. Why, in the past, did he not report to the city where all the uneven sidewalks were? Did Mr. Starbird have his wife strapped in her wheelchair while he wheeled her around? Did he wheel his wife beyond wheelchair safety? Mr. Starbird does not want to take any responsibility for this unfortunate accident, but wants to blame others for his mistakes. Years ago, concerned citizens Herbert Milano and Richard Espiritu came before this council asking aggressively about the policy for sidewalks and road repairs. Mr. Espiritu was very passionate with Mr. Milano. Council members Freeman and Nigerian, who bestowed accolades upon Mr. Starbird at his retirement, would often remain silent when these two gentlemen came before council with complaints and generally waited for a reply from former city manager Jim Starbird. Mr. Starbird stated all was under control, not to worry, and did nothing. It appeared that Mr. Starbird was a miser when it came to finding money for sidewalks and road maintenance, but never had a problem finding money for generous salaries and pension for his beloved CalPERS workforce, Mrs. Freeman. Mr. Starbird threatened lawsuits on the taxpayers of Glendale is to cover up his mistakes, Mrs. Freeman. This is the same city manager who had recommended we hire Randy Adams for our new chief of police. When Chief Adams wanted to move to the city of Bell, Mr. Starbird asked Chief why would he want to move to that corrupt city. Later we found out it was all about the money. Isn't it always about the money? And I'm sad to report that on September the 29th, Mr. Espiritu, the man who came here week after week after week complaining about ADA compliance, passed away. My condolences to his family. Thank you.
I'm terribly sorry to
Mayor
hear
Devine?
that. Yes, Ms. Friedman.
First, I am sorry to hear about Mr. Espiritu. And I just want to correct something that Mr. Mohill said. I believe that Mr. Starbird contributed $100 to my assembly race, not $1,000. But I understand your point. This was on our closed session agenda today. When will we be reporting out on that? Will we be?
There was no reportable item on that. That item was an update only.
Any other comments?
You have a card? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I do. I just wanted to say to Mr. Mohill that this whole topic is sad on so many different levels, and I'm sorry that you address it in this way. That's all I'm going to say. Jose Delgado.
Good evening, council members. My name is Jose Delgado. I've been in Glendale for
approximately like 16 years. I moved down to the city because I believe this is the best city of the world. My kids graduated from Clark Magnet. My son's going to a law school. My dad already graduated political science as well. So, generally speaking, I have a good family and we don't bother nobody. The reason why I'm here is because I'm very concerned. If you guys have kids, anything happen to your kids, we'll do whatever it takes to protect them. I'm assuming that you guys will do it. Today I received a ticket because the parking ticket, it was the sweeper, I forgot. It's upsetting, but I understand that is the law and I have supposed to obey it. I had to pay it. There's no question about it. I have respect for our law system. But what about when you have kids and you're suffering for 15, 16 years of secondhand smoking? You know, there's nothing you can do. There's like all my neighbors. I live in 321 North Cedar Street, apartment 211. That's the second floor. Unfortunately, the stream, my neighbors, they don't understand physics. If there's smoke at the front entrance, the smoke travels and penetrates by my window. I'm at the second floor. All the neighbors that I have in the front building, which is 329, they're old smokers. I have multiple videos and pictures that I will not bring it in today because I don't know if it's legal to do so. At one point, I'm probably going to use it if it's needed. I kindly tell, please, I need to sleep. My kids are like coughing. Could you please not smoke? I said, mind your own business. I'm on this side, you're on the other side. But evaporation process was from top to up. If you're cooking, it'll penetrate. And I try to explain that, but I exhaust my resources. Today, I called one of the hotlines for quit smoking and asked for help. I called the 818 numbers here in the city of Glendale. They told me that I come here. That's why I'm here. I called on police officers one day. I spoke with them, saying, what happened? When you reported, of course they're not going to come because our response is like about 5 minutes or so. You know, is anybody smoking? They'll go ahead and put it away. So what am I supposed to do at this point? My daughter's coughing. My kids are like has allergies. And if you go check, and one day maybe you're going to catch it, maybe you'll not. If you go around the building, you'll see thousands of butts. It's really hard for me to enjoy. One day I was trying to enjoy a cup of coffee at the Coffee Bean. If you go at this very moment, people are smoking right there. It's really hard to enjoy a cup of coffee. And I believe this is a good city to raise kids, so I did. My kids are like good kids. I'm not going to like appoint you to any city of ordinance. I'm not going to accuse you of anything. I don't have anything written. I'm just begging you, please help me with this issue.
Thank you.
That's all.
Thank you, Mr. Delgado. Mr. Ochoa, do we have a ordinance, a smoking ordinance in the part of Mr. Lansfein's?
Yes, ma'am, we do, and we have our fresh air ambassador on staff, who is the person that works oftentimes with commercial biz property owners as well as residential property owners. I'm not sure what number he called, but we will make sure that we make that contact, and I cannot guarantee you that the people who are smoking will stop. As he points out, they sometimes will do it when they can, but we will educate, we will advise the landlord and the manager of the consequences of being ultimately cited.
Thank you.
We did pass an ordinance a few years ago that new buildings have to be non-smoking, correct?
I believe that's correct. And then in addition, the existing ordinance, as Mr. Ochoa referred to, in a lot of areas it's banned, even if it might not be banned in the unit itself.
The reason I asked is because I know we passed that, but at the same time we had that discussion. We had talked about adopting an ordinance that would create large no smoking sections in buildings sort of through attrition, but I don't remember whatever happened with that. I think we had directed staff to go maybe and to take a look at the feasibility of how that would work. You know, that apartment owners of existing apartments, the owners of the buildings, would have long-term plans to achieve large no-smoking sections of buildings and then achieve that through attrition and by encouraging people to move into different units. I know you don't have to answer it now, but I would love for that to come back at some point for us to continue that discussion, because even though it won't give immediate relief to people that are in buildings that are older buildings that don't have that ordinance, it's a way over time that we could phase that in to create no smoking buildings and no smoking sections. Because I have a lot of sympathy. I mean, that's a horrible way to have to live.
I can have our staff put together the information that we have from the last time, forward it to the council, and if council wants to have the discussion, we'll agendize it after that.
Seems that they can do that in hotels, they can do that in apartment buildings.
I think the challenge here was that this gentleman lives at 321 North Cedar, and the people who smoke, they live at 329.
Yes, and also on St.
And they smoke on the street. I'm sorry, I'm asking questions, but I think I think the challenge is in the enforcement overall, because if they smoke on the street and smoke naturally travels upward,
Well,
that's the problem.
No.
Then we I think our existing ordinances might be able, maybe, like you said, if that's the case, then through enforcement, maybe we can deal with it. Because I think our existing ordinance says that people can't smoke to where it's getting into somebody else's unit, correct?
Distance requirements to entryways to buildings and things of that nature.
Allocated spaces for smoking.
Generally, yes, in common areas.
All right, thank you. Next item, please.
I have an announcement to make.
Oh.
Related to
Mr. Garpetian.
events. Yes, I'd like to let the public know that tomorrow, October 5th and October 6th, there will be a photo exhibition dedicated to the 25th anniversary of independence of Republic of Armenia here at Perkins Plaza. The opening will be at 6:30 tomorrow night, October 5th, and I encourage everyone to participate. I'd like to thank the City Manager, Scott Ochoa, and Deputy City Manager, John Tatalian, for accommodating this exhibition in a very short notice. So thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Welcome. Okay. Next item.
Madam Mayor and Council, under adoption of ordinances, 7A is amending Chapter 1.10 of the Glendale Municipal Code 1995 relating to local election campaign regulations, introduced by Councilmember Sinanian on September 20th, 2016. So unless there's additional discussion on this,
The item.
I'll move the item.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Council members Friedman,
Yes.
Garpetian,
Yes.
Najarian,
Yes.
Sinanian,
Yes.
Mayor Devine.
Yes. Next item.
B is amendment to the contract between the City Council of the City of Glendale and the Board of Administration of the California Public Employees Retirement System, introduced by Councilwoman Friedman on September 13, 2016.
Any discussion? Do I have a motion? Second?
Second?
Roll call, please.
Council members Friedman?
Yes.
Garpetian?
Yes.
Najarian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Devine.
Yes. And item C.
Item C is amending Title 10 of the Glendale Municipal Code 1995 by adding Chapter 10.26 relating to mobile billboard advertising displays, and by deleting Section 10.64.090 of the Glendale Municipal Code 1995 relating to advertising vehicles. This was introduced by Councilwoman Friedman on September 20th, 2016. One is a resolution authorizing city penalty for violation of the proposed ordinance relating to mobile billboard advertising displays.
The item?
Second.
Or am I introducing the resolution first?
No, move the ordinance and then the resolution separately.
Okay.
You'll move the ordinance? And a second. Roll
Yes,
call,
there was.
please.
Councilwoman Friedman?
Yes.
Garpetian?
Yes.
Najarian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Devine.
Yes. And the resolution?
I'll introduce the resolution.
Move it.
No, it just
Move
needs a
it.
motion
Just
and a
move it.
second.
Okay, I'll move it then.
Second.
Second. And next item?
And it's a roll call.
We just
Roll
need a
call,
roll
I'm
call.
sorry.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Council members Friedman?
Yes.
Garpetian?
Yes.
Najarian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Devine.
Yes. And the last one?
D is amending Chapter 2.28 of Sections 2.52.120, 2.68.120, 2.76.100, and 8.36320 of the Glendale Municipal Code 1995 relating to implementation of the Glendale CEQA guidelines and minor housekeeping amendments. This was introduced by Councilwoman Friedman on September 20, 2016.
Thank you. And do I have a motion?
Item?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Council members Friedman?
Yes.
Garpetian?
Yes.
Najarian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Devine.
Yes. Next item?
Madam Mayor and Council, under action items 8A, which is listed as City Attorney and City Manager regarding proposed code amendments to Section 4.12 of the Glendale Municipal Code pertaining to city contracts, A1 ordinance for introduction amending GMC Chapter 4.12 has been taken off the agenda. 8B is Director of Public Works regarding as-needed facility services for electrical, plumbing, general building, and roofing systems for all City of Glendale facilities. B1 is a resolution dispensing with competitive bidding and awarding contracts for citywide electrical services per specification number 3606 to Ace Construction and Maintenance, Inc., Ace and Electro Construction Corp. Electro for a term of 3 years and not to exceed amount of $255,000 each, awarding contracts to citywide plumbing services per specification number 3607 to Vern's Plumbing, Inc., Vern's, and HL Mo, Inc., HL Mo, for a term of 3 years in a not to exceed amount of $150,000 each, awarding contracts for citywide general building services per specification number 3608 to Ace Construction and Maintenance, Inc., Ace, and Frederick Towers, Inc., Frederick Towers, for a term of 3 years in not to exceed amount of $135,000 each, awarding contracts for citywide roofing services per specification number 3609 to Stone Roofing Company, Inc., and Chapman Coast Roofing Company, Inc., for a term of 3 years and not to exceed amount of $120,000 each, and rejecting all other proposals for as-needed electrical, plumbing, general building, and roofing services for all City of Glendale facilities.
It's quite a resolution.
You're telling me. I have to read it.
Mr. Ochoa?
Yes, ma'am. We continue the previous item as we have intended to bring to you a revision of our procurement policies and ordinance, but in such a way that it had been originally linked to the discussion about how we would secure professional services for environmental documents, CEQA documents. As that got continued to November 1st, we also had asked then that we continue the other item so that they would move in tandem. Not directly related to each other, but they do kind of move and have the same type of theme. This item is actually somewhat related, but it reflects work that we need to commence on as we bring these contractors in that lengthy resolution that was read by the city clerk. And how it relates to that revision to the procurement policy is what you see here is a request to dispense with competitive bidding and move forward with the firms that are listed here in your report. Now, when folks hear dispense with competitive bidding, a lot of times people are apt to think, as we've come across it firsthand, that the city is doing some type of sole source or no bid contract, when in fact that's actually not the case most of the time. The reason why we are asking you to dispense with competitive bidding in this case is that our criteria for the firms that we are asking to bring on what kind of resembles a retainer agreement for the course of these 3 years is that we aren't going strictly by the lowest responsible bidder. There is other criteria listed in your staff report ranging from the cost of service to the company's capabilities and experience, the company employees and resources, the responsiveness to the proposal, and the determination of overall value that is offered to the city. Many other criteria above and beyond simply the lowest responsible bid. So we do have competition. We do have a rather in-depth evaluation that Mr. Golanian can explain to you, or Mr. Todd, who is in charge of our facilities maintenance and management, that they can get into the details with you over. But the idea here is that there is a competitive process. It is vetted. It is analyzed. Yet we still have to go through the action of dispensing with competitive bid and inviting some degree of concern or consternation from members of the public. What we are asking for here is the opportunity to have a ongoing contractual relationship with different trades. You see roofing, electrical services, plumbing, and general building services and types of repair services. We have found that these types of relationships have been advantageous to us as a means of keeping our in-house workforce relatively small and outsourcing repairs and this type of routine work as time goes on. So you see the numbers that are there, especially as it pertains to the overall fiscal impact, I would submit to you that what you see in the staff report by way of the fiscal impact section of the report reflects what we believe and what our historical experience tells us the cost will be, as opposed to the outside not to exceed number that was presented by the various firms in their respective bids. So with that, I will ask Mr. Galani or Mr. Todd if there's anything that they wish to add, and certainly then we can answer any questions that the council might have.
Any comments, questions? I'm sorry, Mr. Garpedia.
Thank you. And it says like $255,000 each. Is that per year, or is for the 3 years? It says 3 years contract. Where am I? 3 years in the not to exceed amount of $254,000 each. What is that?
That would be over the 3-year period, right? For year 1, 2, and 3. That's their outside not to exceed number under these this information that we put out for them to bid on. What we, if you look at the fiscal impact section on page 4, the annual amount that we're looking at there is the $444,000, which is different from what you saw in those not to exceed numbers. The idea being this is what we expect, this is what our experience tells us, but if we are wrong, if that pipe bursts and it's something that was unanticipated, then you may see those higher numbers not to exceed this outside estimate given by the various contractors.
So these 3 or 4 companies are not necessarily the lowest bidders, they are the responsible bidders.
Correct. If we were going strictly by their pricing, that might not be the case. But you look at the criteria listed in the staff report, 40% is cost of service, the lowest bid, but the other criteria is also weighted differently.
Okay. I just want to caution all of us that, you know, when you go to public sector, that the prices of these services are 2.5 times as the private sector. And if you take that competitive bidding away from it or loosen it up a little bit, I think these prices are going to go even higher. So we have to be very careful not to create that image in here that even though you're not the lowest bidder, you may get this job, and because the other criteria are written the way that this company may qualify, but they're not, they're maybe 40% higher than the other company, but they have more experience or they have more equipment or what have you. So I think with the financial crisis that's out there today, we need to be very careful not to send a wrong signal that even if you're not the lowest bidder, you're going to get the job. So
yes, sir. That's an excellent point. I think that's when you look at the 40% for the cost, the 15% weighted score for the overall value. There's kind of a fail-safe that's there that allows the staff, as they're evaluating these proposals, these bids that have come in, to say, you know, somebody may have the best new set of tools, but their pricing is so high they just aren't competitive in this market. But it does give some degree of latitude. Because the flip side to the staff, the flip side to the point that you make is, you know, you see folks all the time make that butt of the joke kind of comment. Well, how did this happen? Lowest responsible bidder. You know, somebody comes in at what they believe will undercut the price of the competition, and relying solely on lowest responsible bidder, you could end up with a vendor or a contractor that is basically just underselling, knowing they're going to get you later on change orders. So we're trying to balance that as best we can. I think that's why it's important to look at what we think the experience is going to be and the appropriation we're asking, as well as what that not to exceed number is. So we're trying to hold them accountable on the back end as well.
And ultimately, these decisions would come to City Council anyway, correct?
Well, we are here, and even under the new project or the new ordinance, anything that varies from lowest responsible bid has to come back to you to kick the tires anyway. Yes, ma'am.
And in the future, if the dispensing with the competitive bidding comes along, that I'm sure it will be, are we going to know who was the lowest bidder and what's the difference between the price that we're going with and the lowest bidder?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So it will be provided to us?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any other comments? Questions? Do you have a motion on the item?
I'll move the item.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Friedman?
Yes.
Arpetian?
Yes.
Najarian?
Yes.
Sinanian?
Yes.
Mayor Devine?
Yes. Next item, please.
C, City Attorney regarding ordinance for introduction amending Chapter 1.10 of Glendale Municipal Code 1995 titled Local Election Campaign Regulations relating to increase the campaign contribution limit for a single election cycle from $1,000 per person to $1,100 per person, and to add a provision that the future CPI adjustments of said limits may be effectuated by a way of a resolution adopted by the council. C1, ordinance for introduction.
So unless there's further discussion, I'll move the item.
Introduce.
It just needs to be introduced.
Oh, I'll just introduce it. Yeah.
The agenda description is pretty, explain the report, so
Right.
there you have it.
Okay, and we don't need roll call, or,
No, it's just introduction at this point.
so it has been introduced by. Next item, please.
12 would be oral communications, 5 minutes. Discussion is limited to items not a part of this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. Council may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. The city manager may refer the matter to the appropriate department for investigation and report, and there is one card.
Oh, there is one card. I was going
We
to
were
say,
kinda
I
hoping
think
that
it's the first time
kind of
that
looking,
there hasn't
yeah.
been a card. But, there
But
is
one is good.
There is a card.
Victoria Valentino, is she here?
There she is.
Victoria? Oh. Victoria? Yes, Valentino? Or Valentine?
I ran into Mr. Zern. How nice to see him. His people did a very good job on Chevy Chase. Polite, but it cost the city a bundle, I'm sure. That's that Derby curve.
The curve.
Curve. They had to bring in people because the area was on fire. And Mr. Kasakian, he needs to move. He should have been here. I don't see him at home. He needs to have a seat there or here, somewhere where I can see him. He is a very important person. So could you make that possible?
Mr. Ochoa, is that possible?
Now, about that community development, I want to make a comment. So we have a new department created. Who needs it? You need money. Get rid of it. I don't even know what they are, community development department. Then this health fair, Glendale. So the city of Glendale is putting on a health fair. Okay. Now, I have some concerns. The developers have now 2 large parcels that they will develop on Chevy Chase. Does anyone remember Oakman 5 where the ESA prevented that runaway project? ESA, environmentally sensitive area, not EIR. ESA. It identifies the wildlife corridors. They travel from Chevy Chase over to the Wisconsin Gardens. The city owns Glen Oakside. They really need there is still time, they really need to look at that. I have a comment about rents. 2700 San Fernando building. It's outrageous, $3,000. If they get monies from the government, why doesn't the city make a deal? Trump says, make a deal. Rents not to be more than $800 for 10 years. That's all. You either do it or you don't get the money. They have to prove that they can charge $3,000 by showing how much it cost them to build it, to justify. Money. City is looking for new monies. They are attacking Mills Act. It's outrageous. This act, I think, has been for many years. Recently, 2 historical buildings were sold. $4 million profit they brought in for the city. How long can the Mills Act be supported with that kind of money? I shouldn't be talking. I don't even know what Mills Act is. It should be raised. Everything else is being raised. But to get rid of something that's been for years, that's not right. Get rid of Salvation Army. Take their money. They only visit people that nobody wants. People die in homes and nobody goes to visit them. Salvation Army does. Now about the cash cow. I think the Labor Department, if I'm right, sets the minimum wages. The Labor Department must get involved about the cash cow in Glendale. The Treasury Department, federal and state or whatever, they need to see that they're not getting what's coming to them because the cash cow lives in Glendale. Cash cow, this outrageous pensions. Now, I need to ask neighbors to please call the police about the crazies that are blasting the peaceful residents out of their wits. They drive up and down Chevy Chase. Nobody cares. Chevy Chase has been neglected. I called and they said no, they had never received a call from anyone about the motorcyclists. Maybe it's the department people that are racing after work, getting on their motorcycles and racing, having fun. I don't know who they are. They said nobody has complained about any of those things. Anybody racing or making takeoffs like at the airport, jet takeoffs. Please, the neighbors need to call them. I get very upset and I start threatening those people. I threaten the policeman. I'm not going to call them again. But the neighbors need to call. Then I went to Burbank, trying to find Burbank. IKEA, that's Burbank? It's disgusting. If they build a new building, where was the DRB about the color and everything that comes in play? They have this blue monstrosity. Help me find Burbank now.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are you almost finished?
Yeah, I have some other things about the view. They should read the code. It's a cityscape, streetscape. Yes, it could be called the view.
Okay.
Can you wrap on the books? They need to read the books.
Bring those back next week, okay?
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I was going to call you all dolls. I have a doll at home. She smiles at me and looks at me with beautiful eyes, but she does nothing. My husband died. I suffered injury from cruel and unjust injury. Me and my husband. He died that day when the car crashed. Starburst is number one. No, it was Paul's case, and I told you that. So
thank you.
I'm blaming the city.
Please
for it.
don't threaten the police, okay?
No, I'm not threatening.
Thank you very much.
I'm blaming the city.
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I'll bring your letter in writing.
Thank you very much. Next item.
Any new business? Adjournment.
Do I have a motion?
Moved. Second.
We are adjourned at 7:45.